Bienvenidos a Sorpresas. Disponible.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the second day of the Latin American Sustainable Energy Summit. We have a lot of activities, but now we're going to have a very interesting lecture about how renewable energy can boost the economy of the Caribbean. And for this, we have Professor Jhonnly Jean Baptiste, who's an adjunct professor of business at Miami-Dade College. So I remind you to please send us your questions. We have an option right down below in the chat. So please, Professor, go ahead, and thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for Jhonnly Jean Baptiste. For me, I'm the focal point of Latin American Sustainable Energy Summit here, and I'm glad to have this presentation about how renewable energy can boost the economy of the Caribbean. First thing we should know is, what is renewable energy? So you should know should know which thing is really renewable energy. That is an important question that everyone should know. First, what is it? So renewable energy is energy from natural resources, energy that are infinite. So what is the meaning of renewable energy? So there is a lot of popular renewable energy. So the most popular are solar energy. Okay, excuse me. Solar energy. What is solar energy? Solar energy is the energy that comes from the sun. So people use the sunlight, the way of the sun, so that they can turn it into energy. So they use it to do a lot of things, like water with the plant, and also like irrigate in agriculture. So that this one is very popular, particularly in the Caribbean, and gives a lot of work in the world. And the second we're gonna talk about is tidal energy. What is tidal energy? Tidal energy is a form of idle energy, so that use twice daily tidal curve. So this energy, okay, sorry. Okay, this energy is really important and also predictable, and can help the country to acquire a lot of money. And the third one is geothermal energy. So it's the energy that from natural heat below the Earth's surface. This energy can be used to heat home directly. Our energy is used a lot in some country, particularly the richest country in the world, so they use this energy. And the next one is biomass energy. Biomass energy is really fundamental, particularly for the country that use agriculture, and agriculture is the base for boost on the economy of this country for movers. Okay, for instance, in Haiti, where people use agriculture a lot, using biomass energy will be significant, because sometimes people trade throw the agriculture waste in the corner, or give them to animal, or throw them on the street. So that create a lot of environmental disaster. And we have wind energy. Wind energy is a plentiful source of clean energy, because we have wind every day. So when you use wind energy, so that is really important and also economic for a country. And then idle energy. Idle energy is um the most commercial development. So by building barrier, a large reservoir can be used to create a controlled flow of water that will drive it on. So this energy source can often be more reliable than solar or wind power. So when I say that this energy is more reliable than solar, because we always have water. We have more water in the world. Um, for instance, when season change, for instance, we can miss Sunday without having the sun, but that is really different than water because we always have water and water side. This energy is really reliable. So by seeing this energy, what did you notice? Notice that we use natural things and transform them to energy that can help to people to use in the common activity they have every day and also acquire a lot of benefit. Now, I was talking about what is renewable energy. And the second point I want to talk about is what isn't renewable energy. Even though that renewable energy from natural resources, but something come from natural resources and not renewable energy. For instance, fossil fuel and not renewable energy. Burning wood and not renewable energy. Compressed biomass fuel also. For instance, I know some place, for instance, where I go, people use burning wood to make food and also to do a lot of things, and that create a lot of disaster. For instance, today where I live in nowadays, that the forest cover here is less than 2%. So that's really bad because people use burning wood every day to cook and also to make coal. So for them, they do a lot of economic benefit, but environmentally that isn't because today there is no more tree to cut and they indicate burning wood no more, and that create and that lead the country in a disastrous poverty. Why renewable energy? Why using renewable energy and why it is so important? Firstly, it is good for the planet and for people. In Caribbean, Caribbean is really vulnerable about disaster, about cyclone and other things. So using renewable energy in the Caribbean, that will be very beneficial for the people that live there because we'll have less wind, less earthquake, and less environmental disaster. So that's really important to use that. And furthermore, some countries in the Caribbean rely on 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 petrol to survive. So change petrol and so natural resources to produce energy will be really important because country will buy less and also use more natural resources in the place they have so that they can sell and do a lot of money. Because using the same thing we have where you live, so you won't need to move in other place. And so the money that you will move to change place, this money will be saved and you can use it for other things like agriculture, like invest. So that will create a lot of opportunity for the people that can use. For that reason, so I say that renewable energy create economic development and job for the people that live in the country where they invest in renewable energy. And also, renewable energy fights against climate change. 2019 was the second warmest year on record. So the Earth's temperature has risen by an average 0.85 degrees Celsius. That means that the world needs natural resources need to use energy that can create that cannot create environmental disaster. So they will need that because year by year we notice all the climate change and also all the environmental disaster is is more is increased. So that's really terrible because as a Caribbean, I know how bad it is when we have an earthquake. So when you have a hurricane, because you have to lose a lot of things. For instance, in some country, there is poor. In the Caribbean, when you have an hurricane, so we have a lot of water, so that many people die, and also they lose a lot of money. Students can go to school, so that creates a complete disaster. So changing the way we use energy will be very good, not only for the environment, but also for civil life of many people. Now that the subject, all renewable energy can boost the economy of a country. All renewable energy can boost the economy of the Caribbean. So that is an important trend because renewable energy is beneficial for the planet, for the environment, for the people that live in this place around the world. So for this reason, we should take care, we should take notice of this point because that is really important. Now, let's see, for instance, two main reasons why renewable energy technology offer an economic advantage. Firstly, they create more jobs. Renewable energy create a lot of jobs per dollar, and than conventional electricity generation. And secondly, by using primary indigenous resources, so we can acquire a lot of money, and this money can be kept at home. So that is so important to use. That is two main reasons to use renewable energy. Um, According to the Wisconsin Energy Bureau, investment in locally available renewable energy generate more jobs, so that give a lot of jobs, greater earning, and higher output. So that create more job, people can earn, and also that have economic impact that is really beneficial. For that reason, we should rely on renewable energy for our planet. If all countries in one world start using renewable energy, so the climate change, we want to really have the effect on us because we use energy that don't emit carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. And also the same bureau estimate that renewable energy create 3 times as many jobs at the same level of spending on fossil fuels. So that creates a lot of jobs, And further in this presentation, we're gonna see some opportunities of climate we have in renewable energy. All the things we can do, even though you don't have a bachelor of master, there's a lot of things we can do. There's a lot of employment we can have by using renewable energy. And the wages and salary and by industry employee generate additional income and job in the local economy. For instance, in the local area, when they use renewable energy to make money, for instance, people can work there and also the same industry can use that money to pay taxes to this country. So that can help that can help the state in the country, and also that can help the people that get a job. Yeah, Yeah, that can help. Yeah. So that is so important to use it because that can boost the economy of the local because more people that work and more they pay taxes. So that's really beneficial for this local area. Um, there is some important when particularly institution use renewable energy. For example, a school can cut costs by using wind power, and electric cooperative can provide cheaper electricity to members with low voltage. When a school uses wind power, so this school we pay less the state about the district because they use an energy so that is beneficial for them and they won't use a lot of money each month or each year because this good energy is reliable and they won't need to spend. According to IRENA, International Renewable Energy Agency, say that in a report, renewable energy continues to bring social economic benefit by creating numerous jobs worldwide, according to the report. So, according to the annual review in the same arena, so job in this sector reached 11.5 million globally last year. So that showed that how many people that work in the energy sector. Adopting, adopting renewable energy create jobs and develop energy market. Said Avina, um, the director Francisco La Camera. So when you adopt this in your area, so that can boost the local income because a lot of people will get the work and also because they will get the work, so they won't need to have worry about that to have trouble because that will curb, for instance, gangster in this country. For instance, in Haiti, for instance, we have a lot of gangsters in the streets, they kidnap a lot of people. So when police put those people in jail, they say that they do that because they don't have a job, so they have a family to take care of. So they are obliged to do those things because they need to get money. So when if the state invests in renewable energy, we will give more people the work. So we won't have this in the street, on the street. We have less gangster, we have less kidnapper, because many people will have something to do and they want to rely on a lot of money to acquire money. Um, Last year, 63% of all renewable energy jobs were recorded in Asia, according to the new report. Both Biofuel jobs follow closely behind solar PV, reaching 2.5 million. So that shows that renewable energy gives more employment than the conventional energy. Yeah, renewable, there is something that's very important according to renewable energy is the gender equality. Gender equality is significant. For instance, in the conventional energy, um, we have less women that work in the sector. Why we have less women? Because women are afraid to work there. They say that this sector is very dangerous because that they work less in the life. But the new one, renewable energy, when we use that one, that gives a lot of women work, and that is really important. Employment opportunities are a key consideration in planning for low carbon economy. when you have more employment, when more people choose renewable energy, so that will release less dioxide in the atmosphere. For that reason, government should adapt this in their country. If they want that to give more people work, so they should adapt renewable energy. Investment should do that. Young people that um, 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 young people that attend these conferences should invest in renewable energy. Even though you can say that I don't have money to, to do that, how can I do it? So what you should notice, if you don't have money, you can gather other young people and say that I want to invest in renewable energy in my country because I want to I want to give more people employment, and also I want to reduce the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So that will be very good, not only for you but also for the environment. Also, what you should do, we can contact organizations that work on renewable energy and ask them if they can help you, if they can help you to invest in renewable energy. To build the scale base for the transition from fossil fuel to renewable, country will need more vocational training. We need more people that study that at the university. We need people that travel in country where renewable energy is prohibited. We need more that. So when they train, so they can return back in their country and do a lot of training for the young that live in that country, do training for them, and those young can do training for people in the local area so that they can see how beneficial is renewable energy for them and how they can boost the economy of their specific area. Some key number what we should keep in mind, even though we will see that further in the presentation that 11.5 million renewable energy job in 2019. So particularly 28% in China. So that's it. All renewable energy gives a lot of work now around the world. Day by day, renewable energy gives more work. So we should take notice of that. We should think about what kind of energy that I will use in my community. If I will use tidal energy, if I will use solar energy, if I will use wind energy, we should think about that because as you know, the thing is you have a lot of potentiality. You have to have people in your local area to realize a lot of things. What you should know, what you should know is, for instance, I was talking about wind power. So wind power support 1.2 million jobs, 21% of which are held by women. Don't say that I'm a woman, I can I cannot do that. I cannot invest in renewable energy. I cannot work in renewable energy because I'm a woman and I'm limited to do a lot of things. It's not true. As a woman, you have a lot of potential. As a man, you have a lot of potentiality. As a young, we can we can do a lot of things. So for that reason, never, never put you down and take care, take notice of your community and notice what you can do, what kind of energy you can use to boost the economy of the area you are living here. For instance, you can see that I'm gonna use wind power energy or I'm gonna use hydropower energy. So you can think about that and say that by using this, I will develop my area, I will develop my country, I will give people more employment. So I will reduce the carbon dioxide in this atmosphere. So by thinking about that, so that will be very important not only for the Caribbean, not only for the Latin America, but also for the world. So by building the skill base necessary to support global energy transition from fossil fuel to renewable energy require more agricultural than I said before. So that require a lot of people to work in, that require that. The COVID-19 pandemic reinforced the importance of strong policy framework for renewable to achieve social, economic, and environmental objectives. For instance, the COVID-19, when it started, you can notice that we have travel restrictions. So any boat cannot travel in this one. So, but if you use the local natural resources we have in our area, so we won't need to rely on petrol that from in other country for energy. So that is also important to do that. I'm going to give an example about that. For instance, in Haiti again, we use petrol. We, were, we buy it from Venezuela for energy, but by the beginning of the pandemic, so we cannot use it. Did you know what happened? We have more blackout. So people fight, fight well, they sell petrol here so that they can find enough to put in the car, to put in their generator, to cook. So that creates a complete social conflict in their area. On the other hand, if people use renewable energy, they wouldn't have to do that because they have something that they can use personally to help their family. So that create to help the family because we didn't have it here. So we had a lot of social conflict, a lot of disaster, a lot of people died. So a lot of fire because um, in the beginning, Asian only rely on petrol to do a lot of work. This is some a report about job renewable energy has given in some country like this is in the world number China, Brazil, India. So each renewable energy, each natural resources give a lot of work around the world. So around the world between 2019 and 2018 and 2019, renewable energy has given a lot of work around. So it is so important as a young Caribbean to start searching organization, to start doing organization that works in this sector so that we can help people in your area to have a better understanding about what you should do to resolve this problem and to have renewable energy in your local community. This is some opportunity we can get by using a renewable energy. What kind of work we can do, what kind of opportunity that has when you work in renewable energy. So we can work as a wind turbine technician, we can work as a specialist, technical specialist, we can work as renewable energy asset management intern, we can work as energy analyst, law associate. There's a lot of work we can use by using renewable energy. Some of this work don't really require you go to university. Some will like you have experiment. Some will like some specific formation. Some like training. So not all will like you go to university. What I say that because in some community there have a lot of people that don't have the opportunity to go to school, the opportunity to go to university. So when you come with this energy in your community, so it would be good to give a lot of people work. So when you give a lot of people work, when they are working, so that will have less social conflict. So you will spend more money, and the money you save, you can use it in another sector like agriculture, business, and also other things that don't create um, problem for our environment. Yeah, that is some work we can do. We can work as solar project developer, renewable estimator, grid education engineer. You can work as a leader, manager, master planner, and director of solar acquisition. So that is really important to think about that. That is really important to see what resources your community have and how we can help your community and how we can help people in our local area um, to get more job because um, day by day, many people around the world don't get jobs. Some are fired because of the COVID-19. Many people lost their job. So as a young that have a lot of potentiality, as a young uh, leader in your own community, you can do a lot of things to develop this community by giving more people. Right. What can we conclude? We should invest in renewable energy. As your leader in your community, you should do that. Even though you can say that I don't have money, don't stay complaining. Don't stay in your own corner. Don't stay in your comfort zone. Search other people, get their money together. If possible, go to um, a bank and tell this bank your plan and also if you can invest in your project and also give you some money to do that so you can start invest with in the bank and also get your own energy. It is important to develop the Caribbean because that will create less gangster, that will create less kidnapper, and that will reduce the climate disaster, that will reduce the environmental disaster. So that is very important to do that because as a young leader, you have a lot of potentiality. You should believe that and you should use it to help your community to boost the economy of your country, to boost the economy of the world, to boost the economy of your local area, and to reduce the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Thank you. Now, if you have some questions, you can ask. So I'll be very happy to respond.
Thank you very much, Professor. It was very, very interesting to have kind of these different perspectives from the basics, as well as from like your side, which is like a professor, research, and as well as this empowerment for the youth. I actually wanted to begin actually like commenting on something, and is that especially like for Latin American and the Caribbean region, sometimes it seems that like whenever we talk about like energy transition or even kind of the scenarios perspectives, most of the times we tend to separate the Caribbean region from Latin America. So I just wanted to ask you actually, how do you see that actually youth can help promoting or can help in the integration or cooperation process of the Caribbean region, the Latin American region, in order to support the energy transition or kind of in how to boost the renewable energy market from the youth perspective?
Can you ask the question again? Ask specifically the question. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sure, sir. So the question will be like, from the youth perspective, what do you think youth can do in order to promote integration, cooperation of the Caribbean region, the Latin American region for energy transition regarding, well, renewable energies?
Okay, about how we can do it, right, in the Caribbean. right? Okay, yeah. The best way we can do that in the Caribbean, in create an organization in the Caribbean that work on renewable energy. So each government in each country in the Caribbean should put their footprint. So for instance, imagine that is 5 or 6 countries in the Caribbean say that in 10 years we should work to have more industries that work in the renewable energy in the Caribbean. That could be very helpful. And each country should give a report each month of each year about what they do to the transition of renewable energy in their country. So I think that will help a lot the Caribbean because we really need that.
Thank you very much. That's very interesting. And also, I wanted to know a little bit about how do you envision the future of like how to decarbonize the matrix of Haiti? How do you see in your country, like especially how do you say so specifically? This is very complex. So specifically, I want to ask you, how do you see the energy transition in your country afterwards COVID? So how has impacted all this, like the energy transition processes, and how do you see this kind of recovery or not back to normal, but I don't know if you understand what I'm asking.
About how do I see the energy in my own country, right? Okay, yeah. What I notice about renewable energy in my country after COVID-19 is people notice that it is important to use it after COVID-19. The reason is because it's very difficult for people to come here because we have political conflicts every day. You know that the president is dead and many things are very difficult for us here. So now people take notice about using natural resources, energy. Okay, yeah, okay. Now about the renewable energy measure, is solar energy. So, they use a lot of solar because it is very cheap here, and we can buy it easily. And yeah, there is more here because we don't have industry that wants to use the other natural resources. We use the solar one here in Haiti.
Yes, thank you.
Anytime.
All right. So, well, that's pretty much what we wanted to know. We want to thank you very much for your time, for your research, for your motivation. It was very interesting to see this that somehow, especially whenever we come to talk about youth and gender equality, we have to empower us and to empower this Latin American and Caribbean youth generation to be entrepreneurs, because if we don't do it, who else is going to do it? And we're actually in a critical period to do so. So thank you very much for bringing this perspective, your voices. And in case people have more questions, can you please leave us your social media handles, or maybe, I don't know, like your emails or so, because it's very interesting to keep going with the debate. So in case if they ask us, can we share your contact?
Yeah, I've sent my email in the chat, and also people can text me on Facebook, my email. So I'll be very happy to respond then. And about the gender equality, I really like that gender equality because people despise women. I don't really like that because women is very productive. My mother is a woman, so that's a woman that gives a lot of birth to a lot of people. Albert Einstein, his mother was a woman. A woman gives birth to a potential man. So we should prioritize women in many things because women can accomplish a lot of things. So I really love the gender equality because by giving more women work, that would be very beneficial for the world because some father give woman birth, give a woman pregnant a woman, and after leave that woman to take care of these children of the child alone. That is very sad. So imagine if you give these women and employment, so that will help a lot this mother that don't have a father to take care of this child.
Well, thank you again. Well, basically, thank you very much. Merci beaucoup pour votre temps. So we ask also for the youth to keep here. We're going to have more very interesting sections and panels following up. So please send us your comments, questions, and see you in our next session. Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you so much.